I got ChatGPT to do something that used to cost me thousands, which is to give me personalized feedback as if it were a 20-year pro in writing emails. And the results it produced was pretty insane. Now, this is incredibly powerful and worth staying into the end for, because unless someone's giving you personalized feedback on your emails and why it's not persuasive, you may as well just have a box of tissues ready to go every time you send an email. It's going to be a sad time. And the good news is, after this video, you're going to figure out how you can use ChatGPT to be your email marketing sensei. That way you can write better emails, people want to buy your stuff, people click on your emails, and you don't have to pay someone thousands of dollars to coach you in the process. But I didn't want to make this another boring how-to ChatGPT video like you might see. Let's spice things up a little bit. So I went to my email inbox and I found a personality-based email from someone pretty well known. The catch though, it was really damn boring. And if you're in my world, personality-based emails convert the absolute best. On the flip side though, personality emails absolutely tank if they're super boring. They just don't work. They actually repel clients rather than attract clients. Like if you're that boring in your emails, like can you imagine working with you? So my mission with this video was to see how long it would take to take this boring personality-based email and take the feedback from ChatGPT and then turn it into something, pretty good. The challenge here is though, I just want ChatGPT telling why my thing is crap. I want it to give me suggestions and how I can improve the next time. So can it teach you to think like a pro so the next time you write emails, you actually improve and you know it converts? Well, we're about to find out. So the first time I tried to make this video, I hit multiple dead ends because I just entered in the wrong prompt. Obviously. And after a few days of releasing some steam and calmly distancing myself from the problem, I knew it was time to approach the prompt differently. So this is a really long damn prompt and you're more welcome to pause this video, but take a look at what I've done here. And this is super important because it's going to set up everything else. So I've sort of set up the parameters for what success looks like and what failure looks like. The trouble I had before this was that ChatGPT kept giving me a new version of it without really being my coach, my copy chief. So I made it very clear, hey, if you give me a new version of the email without explaining the suggestions, this is a failure. And then I said, for this to be considered a success, you need to do these 4 things. And before I really dive into it, I asked, do you have any questions at all? So little tiny changes, but it's going to go an absolute long way if you want to make it your copy coach. And guess what? Look at the feedback it gave me immediately. This is literally the advice that my copy mentor, Pete, which I spent thousands learning from, would tell me. Hey, the first line that you've opened with is really confusing. Maybe change that up, because if people don't even read the first line, they're not going to read the rest. And like a good coach, instead of just telling you what's wrong, it's going to tell you a revised option. And here's another really good nugget that it picked up from the original boring personality-based email. And this is arguably like the second most important thing after people consume your email. Like, how do you get people to click and want to buy your stuff? Well, the feedback here suggests that, hey, look, you're sort of implying that you want people to go here, but there's no real incentive to really click on the button. And it's not just beginners who fall into this. People who write this all the time can sometimes forget, what's in it for me. And the suggestions here are really solid. What are the tangible benefits for taking action right now? And this is a reality, right? If you're sending out emails to your list, no one's going to be really telling you this. And unless you're paying a coach thousands of dollars, you're not going to get this feedback. The only feedback you're going to get is vague metrics like opens, clicks, replies, but even still, no one's going to be telling you these conversion principles are off. The question is though, how do we make this email even better? Well, the way I like to think about it is that ChatGPT is like a bunch of different Lego sets combined into one, and they don't all fit together. Like it's really unlikely you're just going to press a button and have the perfect email. But you are going to have a few different chunks that, click together really well, like the right Lego blocks. So to enhance this email, I like to use good prompts to make this email even better. And one of them is, what happened to writing in, and then you refer back to your prompt. What happened to making writing entertaining? What happened to writing in this style? The problem is though, unless you really fine tune ChatGPT, it's not going to give you the perfect email. So again, we're just taking chunks. That's why I'm using this prompt. What happened to writing like this person in an entertaining way? And as you can see here, I've picked up a couple of chunks I really like. For instance, this metaphor at the start is way clearer and less confusing than the original email. And this little chunk here is great because I love coffee and it's sort of amusing at the same time. But the rest of this email is garbage, but I do like these little chunks of personality, and that's what we're going to use for later. But before we get to version 2.0, we really need to make the subject line a whole lot better, because right now it's pretty boring. And if you're looking for not just a better subject line, but to explain why your one isn't that good and get some feedback on it, you just ask your copy chief Why is it not that good? And as you can see here, it's going to give you the pros and the cons. And just like being a curious student on a coaching call, I'm like, well, can you give me some suggestions on how to make this better? The issue is that sometimes you just got to crack the whip with Chat GPT and say, hey, next time, can you add some more curiosity to this? Like, you don't need to get full technical with it. Sometimes all you need to do is just like remind it, like, what happens to writing with curiosity? Because as we all know, that's the key to persuasive writing. Okay, so the subject lines I've got here now look way better. But how do you figure out what's the best one if you're not that good at writing email, you don't know what works just yet? Well, you ask your copy chief, Chat GPT, which one do you think is the best and why? And if you're learning how to write better emails, sure, you could probably get better responses from an expert who's actually been doing this, but this is pretty good. I mean, look at this detailed feedback it's giving you. Statistic intrigue, the benefits clear and direct, exclusive knowledge, there's a broad relevance, like it just hits a lot of the boxes and explains why, which is why this is a powerful way to make your emails even better for the long term. But just like I said before, you know, ChatGPT is kind of like a Lego kit where not everything fits together, but there's a few good chunks. So what we're going to do is we're going to create version 2.0. I'm going to show you a few different ways that you can make the email even better. And that way, next time you send out a personality-based email, it's going to be not boring. People want to click on it, and it's going to drive you more leads and sales. Right, so by now you would have entered in your prompt, you put in your email, and you're going to get some feedback that might look similar to this, where it breaks down all the different things to help coach you. But it's also going to give you like a revised email. But you know, just like I said before, ChatGPT is really good at give you Lego blocks, but not necessarily giving you the whole thing. And we want to make these personality driven. And I want to show you how you can take what it's giving you, create building blocks, and then move forward from there. All right, so first things first, we're gonna wanna pick a good subject line, and gone through your video, we've worked this out. So this is gonna be our winning subject line. And we're gonna do the subject line first because this is gonna be the backbone of the whole email. And this is the subject line that ChatGPT gave us. And I wanna pick the subject line first because then we can really dictate how the rest of the email goes, because you don't want to lead with a subject line and then piss people off because you've led them astray. Like, there needs to be some sort of payoff. So this is the original email, and it's kind of boring and you can get lost very easily at the start here. And this is the final revised email that ChatGPT gave. And it's okay, like it's definitely clearer and in the suggestions, but we want to make this personality driven. And unless you want to spend a whole day trying to refine how your voice sounds, we're just gonna have to pick Lego blocks. The sad part is though, I edited the prompts and I lost some of the copy chunks, but I recorded it, it's still there, you can see what I wrote. The important part is that I saved some of the chunks. Now, this is the email here that it's given us. So let's put that in here. But there's a few problems with this, right? It's missing some things that glue this email together and make it convert better. So let me sort of break this down. Okay, so in business, they often say start strong, finish stronger. But what if we flip the idea on its head? This idea, like it's missing a line here. So I've sort of cheated and done this ahead of time, but this is what's called taking the reader with you. And you need a line in between your next thing. So in business, they often say, what if we flip the idea and make it? It doesn't make sense because it implies once you finish, that's it. But I want to make this more personality driven and I want people to instantly get this idea. It's still really hard to get. So if you go back and pause and have a look at this personality driven prompt, you're going to see this metaphor Lego block that I found that I really liked. So we're going to put this instead of the introduction right here. Ever heard of that business adage, start strong? Duh. This September, I'm going to experience a game-changing blah, 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 our 5 month. Okay. Now let's see if it's clearer to understand. It's not as confusing. Ever heard of that old business adage, start strong, finish stronger? Sounds like a half-baked motivation your old high school teacher yelled, right? Sounds like some half-baked motivation your old high school yelled during practice, right? It doesn't make sense because I can't write practice. It doesn't make sense because it implies once you finish, that's it. It's time to slack off. So I'm clarifying the idea. This September, I'm inviting you to experience a game-changing approach at the blah, 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 blah. Our 5-month program is your ticket to ending the year with momentum and catapulting into the next with even more fire, okay? And if we compare this with the original, that's why is a bit extra special. The fight is intentionally designed to end this year strong and cross over into the next year to start over even stronger. So like, even though this isn't amazing, the language is more exciting here. Like, wouldn't you agree? Imagine closing this year with a bang, then kickstarting the next year with even bigger wins. This is a Chat GPT suggestion. Look at the original one. For next year to be even better, grow this year, but set yourself up for even more growth next year. Isn't that what we really want as business owners? For next year to be even better than the previous year? Like, it's a really long way of saying it rather than what ChatGPT has done here. And as a bonus thing as well, like, I think there's just too many words here. So what I've done is I've literally just split the paragraph in half. It's gonna make it a whole lot easier. Okay, now editor, just pause because I need to get my thoughts a bit. So let's continue reading with the ChatGPT email. Imagine closing this year with a bang, then kickstarting the next year with even bigger wins. As business owners, don't we always crave better, whether it's scaling up or optimizing what we already have? Let's chat. Okay, so here is, now we're just gonna need a transition again because ChatGPT hasn't given it to us. And just think about it, like, if you're reading this, how would you create a bridge so it makes sense? Okay, so I've sort of cheated and like, here's where I prepared earlier, but I wanna make this make sense, right? I've just thrown under the bus, so to speak, the start strong, finish stronger, and I've explained how it actually looks like in the business world. So I said, that's my definition of, and I probably want to give the reader a payoff for saying game-changing growth hack, okay? It's like, that's my definition of start strong. It's the game-changing growth hack mentioned in the subject line. So you're giving the reader a payoff. Now I know what you might be thinking. Let's chat and explore this perspective. Now after reading this, I realize it needs a line and you need to re-engage your reader. So it's like, so continuing on with this idea. So how can you take advantage of this growth hack? Would you be, let's chat and explore this fresh perspective. That's pretty boring. So I just use something like, would you be open to exploring the next steps? So this is a revised ChatGPT email, but can you see how we're not really bridging your idea to the call? It just feels really salesy. And we want to make this personality driven. And if you go back through some of the prompts I've written, I really like some of these chunks. So here's what I prepared earlier, and I've found some chunks that I really like that's going to make bridging the idea really smooth. So we've gone here, that's my definition of start from, finish stronger. Like, we've closed off this idea. It's the game-changing growth hack I mentioned in the subject line, and we're just literally referring to the subject line that ChatGPT said. And now I want to tie in some personality here. It's like, now I know what you might be thinking. Has Jules had one too many espressos? And while that may be true, don't judge my love of caffeine. I'm dead serious about this approach. Why not finish strong and start stronger? Okay, so I got this line from ChatGPT, and what it does is it's being more amusing, it's showing my love of coffee, like, it's just being more lighthearted, which is what you need in a personality-driven email. Is it like a 10 out of 10? No, but is it better than what it was before? Hell yeah. So here it is. Here's a call to action. Why not finish strong and start stronger? Book a no strings attach call at blah, blah, blah. Hurry slots feel fast. Okay. So here's what I would say. Like, why not finish is like, why not finish start strong? It's like, here are the next steps in that journey. Okay, you just need a little mini transition here. Book a no string to attach call out there. Hurry slots are filling fast. It's like, I would say for this cohort, I can only give 10 students my full attention. So we're not being like spammy bro marketers. We're giving a genuine reason why spots are filling fast. If it's not the right fit, that's great. Okay, hope we connect soon. Here's to finishing strong and starting even stronger. Okay, so let's compare the two. This was the original email, and this was the follow-up email with a few prompts and a few minor adjustments to make this email even better. On top of that, we've got all the reasons why this email at the beginning sucked and how we can improve upon next time. And the cool part is, this is just a tiny slither of the profit potential you can make with your list, sending good personality-driven emails like this. It's a tiny piece of a much larger strategy though. And if you're interested to know how do I build and monetize a list, the full strategy, I outline everything you know in this video right here.